When looking to breed Neocaridina shrimp, like red cherry shrimp, blue velvet shrimp, orange pumpkin shrimp, and so on, look for females that have a deep, vibrant, and solid color all over their bodies. If you see any transparent spots or differences in color, those would be considered a lower grade. One thing to note is that male shrimp usually aren't as colorful as females. If you're planning to breed shrimp, one important factor to consider while selecting your shrimp is the ratio of males to females. Aim to have around 1 male for every 3 females. This is because when females mate, they're in a delicate state since they've recently molted. They tend to be fragile and not very strong during this time. If too many males try to mate with a female, the female can get really stressed out and even die. To avoid this, having fewer males pursuing a female helps prevent her from getting too tired and potentially dying. When breeding red cherry shrimp or any Neocaridina shrimp, ensure you have a fully established tank that's completed the nitrogen cycle. If the tank is newly set up and you introduce shrimp to it, they could die due to ammonia and nitrite spikes while the tank is cycling. There won't be any biofilm as well for them to feed on, as it takes a few weeks to form. Biofilm is an important food and nutritional source for adult and baby shrimp. The temperature of your tank is important when breeding Neocaridina shrimp. It should be around 68 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 20 to 23.8 degrees Celsius. If it's too cold, your shrimp won't breed. If it's too warm, they might breed a lot, but their lifespan becomes shorter. You might also notice new shrimp being smaller in size. Using an air stone in your shrimp tank will help keep the water oxygenated. You can also use a sponge filter or hang on the back filter to do the same, but they will also help filter the water. If you decide to use a hang on the back filter, attach a pre-filter sponge to the intake tube so that baby shrimp don't get sucked in. Red cherry shrimp, yellow laser shrimp, and blue dream shrimp are 3 of the most popular types of Neocaridina shrimp in the aquarium hobby. When a female shrimp has reached sexual maturity and is ready to mate, her eggs will develop in her ovaries, which are located behind her head. This is where you'll notice a red, yellow, or green patch. This patch is called a saddle, and it holds all the unfertilized eggs. When the saddle grows towards the downward curve of her tail, she'll be ready to have them fertilized by a male. When a female shrimp is ready to mate and have her eggs fertilized, she will hide among the plants or hardscape in the tank. She will then molt to shed her exoskeleton to make the mating process easier. She will also release pheromones to attract male shrimp, and once a male finds her, the whole mating process will take about 10 seconds or so. Once a female shrimp has completed the mating process, her eggs will become fertilized and will then travel to the underside of her abdomen, where she will carry them for about 25 to 30 days. This stage of the pregnancy is called the buried stage, as the eggs look like little berries. The female will fan the eggs with her swimmerets to provide them with oxygen, keep them clean, and to ensure that mold and bacteria don't grow on them. One thing to note is that these eggs can vary in color, from yellow to red to even green, and they won't affect the color of the baby shrimp. A female shrimp will carry her eggs for about a month, and once they start to hatch, she will give birth and release her baby shrimp. One of the most common signs during this stage is that you'll notice a shrimp going into hiding. She will search for a hidden spot to give birth, as it'll keep her babies safe and will contain biofilm on which they can feed. Shrimp are detritivores, which is a type of omnivore that'll eat just about anything. This includes algae, biofilm, decaying plant matter and tank mates, leftover food, and more. They also act as scavengers, but you shouldn't rely on them to eat only whatever they can find. Instead, provide them with a diverse diet, which is essential for their health and well-being. A varied diet helps ensure they receive all the necessary nutrients for growth, coloration, and reproduction. In essence, it'll help them thrive. If you're going away for a few days, look at using Nano Banquet Food Blocks by ZooMed. These food blocks contain plankton and spirulina and tend to last for 3 to 4 days. Blanched vegetables like cucumbers, zucchini, lettuce, carrots, and spinach make excellent treats which can be given from time to time. Just remember to remove them after 24 hours so that your water does not get polluted. When feeding your shrimp, it's best to underfeed than overfeed, as it can lead to excess waste and pollution in your tank. Uneaten food can decompose and negatively impact water quality, hence why it's important to remove it after a period of time. Remember, your shrimp also have access to biofilm, decaying plant matter, and more in their tank. You should see how your shrimp respond to different foods. If they're healthy and active, you're likely providing a suitable diet. If they're showing signs of poor health or reduced activity, you may be overfeeding them and may have to consider adjusting their diet or water conditions. If you keep Neocaridina or Caridina shrimp, you can maintain a population of 2 to 5 shrimp per gallon of water. When it comes to Amano shrimp, it is recommended to have 1 shrimp per 2 to 3 gallons of water. In regards to bamboo shrimp, it's advisable to keep 1 to 2 shrimp per 20 gallons of water, provided there is adequate water flow and a sufficient amount of particulates in the water column. Can Neocaridina shrimp breed with other shrimp species? Neocaridina shrimp can only breed with members of their own species. As a shrimp keeper, if you're planning to breed Neocaridina shrimp, it's advised that you keep shrimp of the same color together. Can different colored Neocaridina shrimp be kept in the same tank? Yes, different colored Neocaridina shrimp can be kept in the same tank. In fact, this is called a skittle tank as they resemble skittles. These shrimp will also breed with each other as they are all from the same species. This type of tank is more for display or if you're culling your shrimp and wanting to keep the lower quality ones together. It's important to note that eventually future generations will revert back to their wild type color, which is a greenish brown. An interesting thing you'll notice about bamboo shrimp is how well they get along with each other. If the tank size permits, it's really fun to see groups of them hanging out together. They usually all bunch up together in very close quarters and face the current. If one shrimp gets too close to the other, they simply adjust themselves. They never show any outward signs of aggression for territory, and they just seem happy to all feed together for hours on end. How long do freshwater shrimp live for? Cherry shrimp typically live for 1 to 2 years under ideal conditions. Bamboo shrimp can live for 1 to 3 years, and Amano shrimp can live between 2 to 3 years. There are other freshwater shrimp that can live a lot longer. That being said, there is always a chance that these shrimp can die shortly after being added to your tank due to stress from transportation and a difference in water parameters. If you keep a bamboo shrimp tank, refrain from vacuuming the substrate too much. Instead, be sure to give it a good whirl every now and then to stir up all the detritus. The water may be cloudy for a bit, but it's a bamboo shrimp stream meal. Bamboo shrimp reproduce in a similar manner to Amano shrimp. This means that, unlike the dwarf shrimp species that most of us are used to, they don't produce miniature versions of the adults. Instead, they're frag-growed through a larval phase, which then needs to be kept in brackish water temporarily or they won't survive. Do bamboo shrimp eat algae? Bamboo shrimp will eat floating green algae, which isn't the most common type in the aquarium. They're unlikely to scrape algae off aquarium walls or decor, so don't count on them keeping your tank clean. Unlike most adult shrimp, which molt every 3 to 4 weeks, vampire shrimp molt once every couple of months. Did you know that depending on the size of a vampire shrimp, females can lay anywhere from 850 to more than 12,000 eggs? If you decide to get vampire shrimp, one thing to note is that although these shrimp are social creatures, they have extremely shy personalities and so need lots of hiding places to help them feel safe and secure. The heavy-duty look and pointy legs give vampire shrimp a menacing appearance, but nothing can be further from the truth. These shrimp are one of the most docile and harmless inhabitants in a tank. Their tank mates can include bamboo shrimp, Amano shrimp, Neocaridina shrimp, ghost shrimp, various types of snails, and non-aggressive community fish. If you're looking to keep something a little different, try rilly shrimp. This includes red rilly, blue rilly, orange rilly, and carbon rilly shrimp. Amano shrimp play a crucial role in aquariums by acting as detritivores. They eat things like biofilm, leftover fish food, decaying plant matter, and dead tank mates. What's impressive is that Amano shrimp are standout algae eaters. They're known for being really good at dealing with different kinds of algae, like hair algae, brush algae, string algae, and blackbeard algae. This makes them an excellent choice if you want to keep your aquarium ecosystem balanced and healthy. My vampire shrimp unfortunately developed the white ring of death and passed away overnight. The white ring of death is one of the most common molting issues a shrimp can experience. It's identified by a solid white line that wraps around the shrimp's body, just behind where the head separates from the body. It occurs when the shell breaks all around the body instead of just at the top, exposing their white body parts. At this point, the shrimp has 2 disconnected exoskeletons, which makes it more difficult to bend and jump out of. As a result, the shrimp can get stuck in their mold, become stressed, and potentially die. The white ring of death is not always a death sentence. There's always a chance that the shrimp can still escape from the outer shell and go on living their life. One way to differentiate between male and female red cherry shrimp or any Neocaridina shrimp is by size. Females tend to be larger with an average size of about 1 inch, while males are typically around 3/4 of an inch. Males are also slimmer. However, this indicator isn't entirely reliable as it's easy to confuse a young female with a fully grown male. A red cherry shrimp's color is a good indicator to tell males from females. Females usually have a deeper, more vibrant and opaque color, while males appear slightly lower grade with speckles or increased translucency. This indicator alone isn't highly reliable, as shrimp can temporarily lose color density under stress or unsuitable conditions. It's also hard to distinguish males and females when it comes to high-grade Neocaridinas, where both sexes may have the same deeper opaque coloration. The shape of a red cherry shrimp's undercarriage or abdomen is a reliable indicator of distinguishing males from females. Females have a larger and rounder undercarriage, providing extra space for storing eggs and added protection for developing eggs. Males, on the other hand, have a flat and almost straight underside since they don't need the extra space. One thing to note is that during pregnancy, a female's abdomen will expand, and after she gives birth, it will not return to its previous flat shape. The same goes for her back, where you will also notice a slight curve as well, as a female shrimp will bend her back a little bit to better hold her eggs. The abdomen segments and tail of a red cherry shrimp can be used as indicators for distinguishing males from females. For females, the second segment is rounded and sits on top of the first, with a larger tail used for fanning eggs. Males have segments beside each other without overlap, and their tails are narrower since they don't carry eggs which require constant fanning. This indicator's reliability is medium to low, requiring experience to notice these features. The pair of antennas that are located at the end of the rostrum, facing upward, can be used as an indicator to tell males from females. These antennas are one of 3 sets which are used to detect danger and food. Some hobbyists believe that male antennas are longer than females, but this is a low reliability indicator due to size differences between male and female shrimp, and works better when comparing shrimp of similar ages. A female shrimp's ovaries are located right behind her head and are called a saddle. The reason for the name is because they are located where a saddle would be on a horse. The saddle contains unfertilized eggs and can vary in color like green, yellow, blue, and more. The saddle signifies sexual maturity, and only females display it. Spotting the saddle is a reliably high indicator to tell the difference between males and females, except for certain high-grade or dark-colored shrimp where it might be challenging to spot. Spotting a female carrying eggs on the underside of her abdomen is the one indicator that is completely reliable in distinguishing males from females. This stage of the pregnancy is called the berried stage, and the reason it's named that way is because the eggs look like little berries. Only females carry eggs, and this stage lasts for about 25 to 30 days until the eggs hatch. While high-grade shrimp may make it challenging to spot the eggs, observing a female frequently fanning the eggs with her swimmerets and tail is a clear sign she's in the berried stage. Have you tried feeding your shrimp Bacteria by Glass Garden? This micropowder adds important microorganisms, amino acids, and enzymes to your shrimp tank. It also enhances water quality and improves the development of biofilm, which is a staple food for adult shrimp and their offspring. Bacteria can be fed once or twice a week, and all you require is an extremely small amount for your tank. Have you tried feeding Shrimp Baby by Glass Garden to your baby shrimp? This powdered food is rich in protein, zooplankton, natural vitamins, minerals, and high levels of omega-3 fatty acids. It provides baby shrimp the necessary energy for molting. Most baby shrimp stay in place when they hatch and require their food to come to them, otherwise they risk starvation. This food does exactly that, as it forms a film-like layer on all the surfaces of the tank. Shrimp Baby can be fed 1 to 2 times a week, and all you require is an extremely small amount. Have you tried feeding your shrimp Mineral Junkie by Glass Garden? This soft pellet food is vital for shrimp and other invertebrates. It contains various minerals which aid with molting, slow growth, and proper formation of shells for snails. I usually add 1 pellet to my 5 and 10 gallon tanks and 2 to 3 pellets to my 20 gallon tanks once a week. It really depends on how many shrimp you have in your tank. Have you tried Shrimp Dinner by Glass Garden? This well-balanced pellet food contains various important nutrients, vital substances, and natural vitamins that shrimp require for healthy development, successful molts, growth, brilliant colors, and high reproductive rates. The ingredients in Shrimp Dinner are also 100% natural. One thing I've noticed is that my shrimp go crazy for this food. Depending on the size of your shrimp colony, you can feed them Shrimp Dinner on a daily basis or once or twice a week. It's best to check your tank after 24 hours, and depending on how much food is left over, figure out your feeding schedule accordingly. Hikari algae wafers make an excellent meal for your shrimp. They contain high levels of vegetable matter, including other vitamins and minerals that algae eaters prefer. Depending on the size of your shrimp colony, provide them with the appropriate quantity. Keep in mind that if you have Amano Shrimp in your tank, they may steal the algae wafers for themselves. Have you tried feeding your shrimp blanched duckweed? Duckweed is considered a superfood and contains about 35% carbohydrates, 20% minerals, and up to 40% protein. If you have duckweed in your tank that you're trying to get rid of, blanch it and feed it to your shrimp. Snails and any fish that are herbivores, like otocinclus catfish, will absolutely enjoy this food. Why do shrimp require protein? Frozen brine or baby brine shrimp, bloodworms, spirulina, and daphnia make excellent protein-based meals for your shrimp. Juveniles require protein to grow, and if you're trying to grow a large colony, females require to make their eggs. Shrimp are detritivores, which is a type of omnivore that'll eat just about anything. This includes algae, biofilm, decaying plant matter, and tank mates, leftover food, and more. They also act as scavengers, but you shouldn't rely on them to eat only whatever they can find. Instead, provide them with a diverse diet which is essential for their health and well-being. A varied diet helps ensure they receive all the necessary nutrients for growth, coloration, and reproduction. In essence, it'll help them thrive. Neocaridina shrimp, Amano shrimp, bamboo shrimp, and vampire shrimp prefer water on the harder side. They do well in water that has a pH level between 6.5 and 8.0. These shrimp can also stand a range of temperatures, but they're most comfortable at around 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want these species of shrimp to thrive, consider going with a planted tank, as plants are natural filters, but also help with oxygen production, provide shelter and places to hide, as well as provide more surface area for biofilm, which they love to feed on. Shrimp do not need to be fed on a daily basis, as there is already a lot of organic matter in your tank, like biofilm, decaying plant matter, and more. You can opt to feed your shrimp once or twice a week, as this will help prevent excessive waste buildup and water pollution. If you have a really massive colony where your focus is on breeding them, then more frequent feedings might be necessary, but you will need to judge accordingly based on how much food is left after 24 hours. The key takeaway is, if you notice your shrimp are active and constantly feeding on something, you're providing them with the right quantity. If they're inactive and not eating the food you've provided, you're probably overfeeding them. At this point, you'll also want to test your water quality. When it comes to filtration, sponge filters and hang-on-the-back filters are excellent. If you choose to go with a hang-on-the-back filter, ensure you cover the intake tube with a pre-filter sponge, otherwise baby shrimp can easily get sucked into the filter. If you do not wish to use a filter, you can always use an air stone to help create surface agitation for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange. At this point, you'll probably want to keep a planted tank so that your plants act as natural filters. Red cherry shrimp that's been newly introduced to a tank can sometimes take anywhere from 3 to 5 months to begin breeding. The only advice I can offer is to be patient. How many eggs do Neocaridina shrimp carry, and for how long? A pregnant female Neocaridina shrimp will carry between 20 and 30 eggs for about 2 to 3 weeks until they hatch. During this time, she will constantly fan them with her swimmerette so that they stay clean and oxygenated. Red cherry shrimp and Amano shrimp, when kept together, can make good tank mates. In my 20-gallon long tank, I keep red cherry shrimp and Amanos together along with various species of fish. Keep in mind that due to an Amano shrimp's size and demeanor, there's always a chance they could prey on baby red cherry shrimp.